Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro. As always, I guess not as always, but we are doing another Gitpod certification. I'm now noticing that the watermark is covering my head, so I'm going to just move this over a little bit. It wasn't my idea to ever create a watermark for my site, but right now I don't think anyone knows about this, so we're doing another day of plan, and so what I'm going to do is make my way over to Twitter and post that there. We'll go here. And we'll go here. So, whoops, I got to grab the link. I grabbed the live stream link here. And I want this. So, another Gitpod certification course. Okay. 100 days of cloud, 100 days of code. Get my Twitters in here. I don't know if anyone's watching yet. If you are and you're talking, I don't see it. Just give me 2 seconds. So, we are good there. What I'm going to do ahead is just go close this. Pop up my chat. And my green screen's a bit messed up, so which side is messed up? It's this side. So I'll just zoom in a bit, that'll fix the issue. Whoops. There we go. And I think that that is all good. So what I'm gonna do here, oops. Let's just get this in better position here. And welcome our streamers. If you are in the room, say hello. I'm just about to get started here. And of course there is a little bit of delay, but just for those who are coming to the stream, what I'm doing here is I'm working on my Gitpod certification. So this will be a proper certification path, and I think that this is going to tie into a larger course, a larger certification, which is either like the cloud development or modern application development. I haven't really decided as of yet what it will be, but what I want to do here is I want to start moving over our curriculum into kind of an open space so that we can get contributions from the entire community. Whether people contribute or not doesn't matter to me. Oh, hi, Avinash. Thanks for coming in. Okay. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go all the way over here. And for those, I should really close my email so no one sees it here. Close, close, close. And close my Twitter here. Close, close, close. And Credly. And I'll just have everything open here. 1 second. So I know here, whoops, I'm going to want to go to GitHub, and I'm going to make a new repository. I'm going to put it under Exam Pro for the time being. We'll go to repositories here, and I'm going to just call this Gitpod Certification Exam Guide, maybe? Okay. And we'll make this public, and I'm going to need a README here, and we're going to create this repository. And I have this Word doc here where I started kind of mapping this out. And I think it might be better to put it in here because I'm having a really hard time with Teams sharing or SharePoint sharing over these documents. And honestly, I want to kind of encourage more people to contribute. So it might be better over here to do this. And so what I'll do, since Gitpods is so useful, I'm going to hit Gitpod here. We'll open up our exam guide and we'll just develop it within here. Super exciting. I'm going to drag this up here, top left corner. Okay, so I need to translate this over to my README. Okay, so go over here. And there is some way to preview. I'm not like super great at VS Code Markdown Preview. Let's take a look here. How would we do this? Markdown Preview. Dynamic previews and preview locking. By default, Markdown previews automatically update to the preview currently. Sounds good. You can also right-click the tab editor or Markdown open preview to slide. So this is, I think, what I'm going to use to figure that out. So I'm just going to close my Teams here so I'm not getting so many notifications. And so this is what I want to get set up here in my new Gitpod. So what I'm going to do is make a new Gitpod file, .gitpod YAML. And I want to go find the plugin. So is this built in by default? VS Code supports Markdown files out of the box. Oh, it does. Okay, so let's do that by default. So I'm going to open up the context menu. How do we do that? Oh, command palette. Control Shift P. So maybe it's Command Shift P for me. Yeah, there we go. And so we'll just say Markdown Preview. Oh, so it's Control Shift V. Control Shift V. There we go. And then I want this to be over here. So we'll put that over there like that. And I'll close this tab. And I actually follow your certified cloud practitioner. What is Gitpod? So Gitpod is a developer environment, and the idea behind it is that, you know, if you want to get started with a workspace, like I say, like instead of setting up like your developer environment, installing everything locally, what you can do instead is configure a Gitpod YAML file and load basically an environment that has everything for you. This is really useful if, like, you know, you just have a really hard time getting environments set up, and they have a bunch of like quick start ones. So if I go to Gitpod quick starts, okay. They have a bunch of templates. So like, let's say you want to work on a Ruby on Rails project. You type in Ruby on Rails here, right? And from there, you can go to this template, okay? And I can go ahead and just launch this template. And then it will give me an environment so that I can start working on a Ruby on Rails app right away. So it just gives you a lot more agility and saves you a lot of time in terms of development. Also, like if you break your local developer environment, like then you have to spend a lot of time fixing it. Whereas here, it's like these are disposable, so you just throw away a environment, you can spin up another one. And so Gitpod specifically is going to be something that we are going to see that really is going to matter in the industry. I think a lot of organizations are going to be moving their entire developer teams over to cloud developer environments, and so, you know, it's good to learn it now because you know, if you have it on your resume, I think it's going to stand out. Okay, but anyway, we'll just go back to here and get this exam guide going. Okay. And so looking at here, I don't know what we'll call this, but this is basically the cloud developer environment exam. And specifically, it's like Gitpod Hero or Gitpod Essentials. Okay. So this certification is designed to show that a developer has proficiency with Gitpod, that they can quickly get started, because the thing is, like, if you're using Gitpod, the idea, like the main benefit is like junior developers aren't wasting time trying to get their developer environment set up. So they're going to hit the floor running when they develop. So the certification is designed to show that a developer has proficiency with Gitpod, that when starting a new project with a different technical stack, they can get their developer environment running in a short amount of time. They will be able to understand the key benefits to convince of cloud developer environments, to convince key stakeholders of an organization to adopt cloud developer environments. Okay, doesn't have to be perfectly worded. We'll come back there and fix this here. Whoops. And right now we are using Gitpods, right? So to rank this course, which is kind of cool. And so, you know, course title, or certification title, certification marketing title. This is something that HashiCorp does. They'll have like what it is, like it's the cloud developer environment, and then they'll have like a subtitle, which is like the Gitpod Essentials. Okay. So So we'll say purpose of this certification. Okay, and then down here we are going to say something like, because there's a roll up into larger certification. Okay, so I'm just going to take this, put this up here. And so the idea here of this roll up of a micro certification, and while I'm doing this, I might just paste this over because I'm not sure if Vlad's around, so I just want to post this to him in case he didn't know that I'm running this right now. I'm just going to go over to my Slack channel here and just paste it to him. Okay, so, you know, the goal of the Gitpod certification is one of many is a certification that will be grouped with other micro certifications to roll up into a role-based certification. So like either like maybe like cloud developer or modern application developer, probably cloud developer right now. So like the idea is like, so, you know, when you earn all of the micro certifications, you will gain the role-based certification, okay? Okay. So we have cloud develop. So maybe it's like we have the cloud developer and we go here. I don't know how to do. Can I do this here? Test. Ah, there we go. So maybe it's like we have, and I might have written this somewhere. Let me go take a look here. Okay. Did I write this somewhere here? I don't think I did. I know I've written this before. So I'm just going to go to another documentation page that I have, because I do have kind of like a goal here. It's not just Gitpods. It's the idea is like if you learn all these tools that you'll be like a modern application developer, and that's going to transition you from a developer to a cloud developer, right? And so I'm just going to go, I'm doing this off screen. I'm just pulling up another documentation here that I wrote that was private, that I was talking about the goals about this particular certification. And so we're going to go down here. And so it could be things like this. Okay. And I want people to know this document's a work in progress, so we'll just go here. Under construction, emoji. We'll go ahead and grab that. Okay. This exam guide is a work in progress. Things are likely to change. Okay. And also, I'm going to say open course. This, the course material for this certification is open course. Right, so the accompanying certification is open course material. This means you can use the content. You can use the content to create your own study course, or use the content as is to teach people how to use a Gitpod. The exam guide, you know, open. Let's say community led. So the accompanying certification is open course material. This means means the content created, the accompanying We'll put a to-do here, so I'll have to put a to-do saying to-do. How do we do to-dos? To-dos in README files, because there's actually a proper format, I think. How to mark because we can do a checkbox like, so we need to figure out what open course licensing should be. Currently no licensing applied. Okay, so that's something I don't know about yet, so we'll have to figure that out as we go. Just a second here, I'm just going over to my GitHub or my Twitter. And I'm gonna make my way over back to my live stream here just so I can see if anybody's watching. And anybody's watching, just say hi, okay? So we'll do that for now. We'll just put that there because I don't know what the license should be. Down below here, I'm gonna put another to-do, which is like determine what the roll-up course should be. Cloud developer, modern application developer. Okay. So here it'd be like cloud developer environment. So e.g. Gitpod, programming, e.g. React, or I mean like you say like programming language maybe, you know, JavaScript. I don't know. I'm just saying like determine what micro-certifications besides Gitpod should be considered. Okay, so down below we'll have programming language, JavaScript framework, JavaScript front-end framework, React. Here we might have SRE JavaScript framework. So Next.js, automation, e.g. GitHub Actions. And to me, like, it's not important what you learn because everything has conceptual ideas behind them. But everything should be tied to particular products so that, the Gitpod certification is a certification that will be grouped with other microservices to roll up into a role-based certification. When you earn all the micro certifications, you'll gain the role-based certification. A certification is not purely a certification will be product focused, but will also teach the broad concepts of a particular discipline. Okay, so like that's the idea is like if you are, if we want to teach you a programming language, it's not the fact that, we're just teaching you JavaScript or whatever, TypeScript, JavaScript, what have you here, maybe TypeScript here, because it's more so about understanding how it fits into that workflow and also maybe tying it back to the cloud, okay? But we can develop this as we go. I'm not really sure how we decide to do this. So I'll just say modern application developer. The reason I don't like modern application developer now is because I think like, oh, maybe you need to know how Kubernetes works. Like maybe it's like containers, right? Like Docker, like maybe Podman, because Podman's becoming popular. Build, what's the other one? Whatever that other one is, right? So, whatever that composition should be. And the goal here is not to make these courses super long. I want them to be easily achievable. I want them to have a very cheap price point at like $25 and $50 per certification. I want this to be extremely accessible. So that's the options there. But what I'm going to do here is now that I kind of have some of my definitions here, and this indentation is not doing what I want. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Suggested okay. So we have that there. And so now we can come over here, and maybe this will get extracted out to its own repo, which is totally fine. But the idea is that we have some factors here. So this is, I don't know what we're going to say. We'll call this the pre-ramble, because this is really me just rambling here. Oops. We'll bring that down here. Okay. And so we have our pre-ramble, which is fine. And then down below, we actually have the details. So we'd say like passing score, questions, exam guide time, 1.5 hours. We have 55 multiple choice and multiple select. Of course, I'd love to have sandboxes to validate those skills. I do have an idea of how I could use Gitpod to do that. But just to get started here, I think we'll do this. So I do see a lot of potential with using Gitpods for validating skills. Okay, so we got passing score, 55 questions. We'll just go down here. Multiple choice, multiple select. And then what we need to do here is look at our breakdown. So we'll go here, we'll have our breakdown. And we need tables, so we'll just go here, make some tables. Percentage of exam. Domain. Okay, 323, 323, there we go. Now we got a table. If there's easier ways to make tables in Gitpods, I have no idea how to do it. So we have cloud IDE concepts. I kind of prefer saying environment as the language. Okay, we'll go back over to here, to the outline. I know you can't see the outlines off screen, but it makes this a bit easier. And we have Gitpod concepts here. By the way, if this is too small, I didn't even think about this. People that are watching, I wonder if like it's teeny tiny text. I don't even know. I guess I could bump up the font here. Settings. Not that I'm that, again, not really great at this, but we'll say editor settings. We'll say 20 font. Does that help? Oh yeah, that makes it way bigger. Okay. That might be a bit too big for me, so I'm just going to go down to maybe 18. Again, I'm not a pro at this stuff. I think a lot of older developers like myself are like this, where we're just like, it's like we're coding with oven mitts. It's crazy. So we'll open this up again. These percentages don't really matter. I mean, like they do. I kind of generally think about what I want these to be, but we'll have to come back here and figure this out as we go. Integration, so we have 10%. Gitpod configurations, we have 30%. Gitpod workflows, we are 25%. Gitpod.io, Gitpod Enterprise, Gitpod OSS, which stands for Open Source Software, we have 20%. We will get the total in here now. And hopefully that adds up to 100%. If it doesn't, we'll work our way back. It's not a big deal. I like how that's hyperlinking, even though I'm not trying to do that. That's totally fine. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen when we paste that on. I don't know if that's going to happen when we publish that, but that's totally fine. And I keep losing the page to see how many viewers. There's nobody. There's just one person watching, which is fine. It's like me. Just I'm watching it. That'd be funny. Okay, so cloud developer environment concepts, Gitpod integrations, workflows. That's all good. So this is the exam guide breakdown. So the exam is divided. Oh, you know what? I have content for this. Why am I writing this out? So I'm just going to go over to, because I have so much content. So I have this over here. So what I'm going to do is just go and grab, so the exam guide is composed. The exam is divided into how many domains we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 domains. Each with their own weighting. The weight of a domain affects the amount of questions that will be present for that, the amount of questions for that domain. And one thing I'm thinking, I should start committing this here. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to go to source control. And I'm just going to add this, add that. We'll go here, whoops. We'll just say initial commit. Here, okay, and we'll sync those changes. We'll say okay. I notice the way like we can open the context, which is nice. I go here and do context. I'm really getting good at Gitpods. And I haven't been using it much, so I'm getting pretty excited about this. So we go down below here. Yeah, it's not pretty, but it is getting our point across here, so that's fine. And I wonder if we could turn this into a page. How do you do that? Because I know I'm still filling this stuff in, but I'm just trying to make this more presentational, right? Because there's like GitHub hosted templates. It's in here. Pages. Publish privately to people with read access to this repo. Well, I want it to be public. GitHub Pages is currently disabled. Select a source below for GitHub Pages. Main. And yeah, the root. We want this at the root. And so can we also choose a theme right away? Or, oops. I don't think we turned it on. So I'll go back here and we'll say main. We'll say root. Great. And then from here, we will choose a theme. Just trying to see what to do here. Obviously, we can always change this later. This is actually pretty simple. There's no zip or tar to download. I mean, as long as we can swap those out, I think that's fine. Which one was this? This one's called Leap Day. Leap Day. Let's keep clicking through this here. Hack Day, no. Midnight, no. No, so old looking. They want everything to be downloadable, eh? No. So for the time being, I think we're going to go with Leap Day, even though it's not particularly exactly what, because like I don't need these buttons, but as long as we can change those out, I think it's fine. I don't know how it's going to affect our README. Maybe it doesn't matter. So we'll say select theme here. And so if I go over here to this page, oh, it's all here. But where's my theme? Where's my theme? I don't see my theme. Did I muck it up? Like, what did I do here, you know? I don't understand. We'll go into here, so Jekyll theme hide here. And we'll go back here. I don't know like what the domain should be, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. We'll go back to pages. And I'm just going to grab this for the time being. We'll go back to our code here. And we'll set this as the website. There's usually like a place to say website. Where is it? I know it's here. Settings, options. Sponsor helps the community know how to financially support this repository. That sounds like fun. Discussion, engage your community by having discussions. I mean, like, I don't really like the discussions feature on GitHub. I feel like people can just open tickets, but I guess we could turn it on for fun. And I'm still looking for that website link. So I can't seem to find it. I know there's like a website link. There usually is one, but I'm just going to paste it in here. Oh, here it is. Oh, it already links it. Give me a break here. Gitpod. Gitpod. Sure. But I'm not seeing like a link to the website. Or is it right here? No. So we will... Oh, it's not even filled in. It's just pretend filled in. That's why it's not showing up. Okay. So go here. That just goes to show how often I do this kind of stuff. We'll go to pages, and we're going to grab our link here. We'll go back to the top. Is it possible something similar like these for SSA AWS Please? I mean, it's like you just, like when you say that, do you just mean, and sorry, I just noticed people are jumping in the room here. Hey, Aaron. Like, do you mean like just make it open for all the courses? Because like it's totally possible for me to do it. I just haven't. You know what I mean? Like plan this stuff out and do this kind of stuff. There's no reason I can't. I just have not been doing it. So, oh, I want this link here. We'll go ahead and grab this. We'll go back to code here. And for the exam, well, I mean, sure. Like all my content is like open anyway, so it's just not on GitHub, right? Like for any of my certifications, I just don't make videos of me talking about stuff as I'm developing them. I mean, I could totally do that. It's not a big deal. Maybe, yeah, I'll think about it. Oh, thanks, Arun. I try. It's hard work. Okay, so now we have like the link to the website. I don't know why it doesn't look like the template. So GitHub pages. It's probably because like there's probably like front matter or something in there. So GitHub front matter Markdown. That's probably what's happening here. Maybe I could just like find examples like GitHub example pages. Are the Twitter Spaces recordings also available anywhere? Not as of yet, because it's too hard to record them. I would need like $1,000 device to do it, and I just don't have the money to spring for it, because I'd have to like feed it in through these systems and record it. There could be an app, but I haven't found one that works. Supposedly for Twitter Spaces, you can download all your archive data and get it, but that hasn't worked for me either. Is the CLF CO1 completed now? Yes, it launched yesterday on FreeCodeCamp. So if we go over to FreeCodeCamp here. And we see, there it is. So it's launched. It's 3 times longer than before. And I worked really hard on that just because reInvent's coming up. And I felt that I owed the community to, because that was the certification that got me started, like a lot of traffic and growth here. I figured I should do a really good job on it. And, you know, it's 13.5 hours, but like it's not as bad as you think because a lot of that is padded because of follow-alongs, right? So you're watching those follow-alongs, not necessarily having to do them yourself, and you can watch them on 2 times, get through quicker. But I just wanted to make it complete. So for those who like know what they're doing, they can skip a lot of the follow-alongs. But for those who don't know and they're completely new to the cloud, it just gives them a guarantee that if I put those 13 hours in, I'm going to be in really good shape. So I'm really bad at marketing, by the way. What is the best way to improve your cloud knowledge? The best thing is to learn in the open and apply that knowledge, right? So, you know, and also like think of a project to build. So pretend that you're a startup and start engineering stuff, because then you start mirroring a lot of the challenges that a company's having. And a lot of times when you go and get a job, they're going to say, hey, can you show me something you built? And if you show them a bunch of little toys you built, like here, I did something with API integration, that's not very useful. As of, oh, I had this business concept and I used technology to also solve it with cloud. You have any paid courses as well? Yeah, so the way I do my content is I give it out for free and then I layer it. So like, for instance, the Cloud Practitioner is free on Free Code Camp, but it's a lot better experience to have it here. And this even has a free tier. So you go here, you get a free practice exam in here. You can watch the videos here, like itemized, because it's so hard to watch them on the Free Code Camp channel. But if you log into here, you can pay to access additional practice exams, because notice there's one for free and it's a complete practice exam, not just like, I don't give you like 20 questions. A lot of my competitors, they're like, oh, we give out free practice exams. They're like, no, you give out 20 questions. I give out a full set. But you buy the additional ones, you get the flashcard, or sorry, you get the other practice exams, you get flashcards, Quizlets. So there's like a little quiz on every single thing to really help you retain that information. There's downloadable cheat sheets, and then there's also paid support. So, you know, I will answer questions on the platform particular to videos, or I have a cloud support engineers that help them as well. So, you know, if you want to help more free courses, the best thing is to pay. And the price point is pretty low. It's $21. I think we're going to raise it by $3 just because since we've made more free content, it's like, it's becoming more expensive to like have more people sign up for free. And so we might bump it for $3, but you know, my goal is always to make the cost as low as possible, okay? Anyway, what I'm going to do is just make my way back over to the Gitpod here. So, oh, I was trying to make this look a bit nicer. And I think the reason why it's not showing up really nice is because I don't have front matter in there, just kind of sparking my memory there again. So I'm just trying to find an example page here, somebody that's already hosted one. Oh, so they have one for Bootstrap. Maybe they have a page, like at Bootstrap. They do. And so what I want to do is just look at their README here, because I think that that is what it's bootstrapping on here. And if I go to the raw source, does it have front matter here? No, it does not. So why is that not looking the way I want it to look? This is nice though. I don't know what to do there. Thanks for your time. Thank you. So we'll just go back and refresh this. A lot of people don't realize, like, my background is as a developer. So way before I was doing cloud, I was building web apps nonstop. And it's something like I should be making more developer courses. It's just that I feel that the cloud space is very unserved. And so that's why I make the cloud certification courses, even though I'm really good with development. And actually, that's kind of unique in this space because, again, I say competitors as if like they're my enemies, but I actually am friends with a lot of my competitors. But a lot of them, they can't build web apps. So they like teach cloud certs and they can't even build like stuff. And it's really bizarre. But I mean, that's kind of good because in that sense, that means you can enter the cloud industry and not have to be a developer focus or doing stuff. But it does surprise me like how not many people know how to do that stuff. So I don't know the reason why it's showing up like that, but that's totally fine because what we can do is just keep working through this and we'll worry about that later, okay? So we will go back to our Word doc here. We'll pull this on over here. Which cloud providers is your preference? Well, Amazon Web Services, right? Like I like them all for different reasons, but my primary cloud workload is on Amazon Web Services. Just because the integrations between services is very good. The APIs are very good. And they just have a lot of services, right? And the support's really good. Google Cloud, I'm really liking Google Cloud because of its simplicity. But I'm only really over Google Cloud using BigQuery or like a Dialogflow, very particular best in breed services. For Azure, like it's a kind of like, it's not, I like Azure, but I use it because we use SharePoint, Teams, Microsoft stuff, you know, and so that's where the secondary workload to run my business is. So I'm technically using all three clouds. I would rather spend all day in AWS if I had to choose between the three. But, you know, it's not really one's better than the other. It's just based on your use case, right? So, you know, like if you're like a really, really small startup, like you're just building a small project and you want to keep things simple, I just use Google Cloud because it makes things really simple. And these other competitors, like these other third tier clouds are starting to creep up and doing a really good job, like Vultr and DigitalOcean. Like DigitalOcean's getting like a serverless offering, and I think they might have a Kubernetes offering. Vultr's getting a Kubernetes offering. And I also really like Linode, but you know, it really is use case driven, right? So don't just do what I use what works for you. Any plans for creating a course project based on cloud? Maybe. I made a repo called it's on 100 Days of Cloud. And this is called the Real World Cloud Project. I just haven't put more time into it. So this is like the idea of making a big project, like having everything, because when people go and they, you know, they'll do and I'm not saying the Cloud Resume Challenge is bad. Like it's really good if you need motivation for so like the Cloud Resume Challenge here. So there's this is made by Forrest, and he has it for AWS now, he has Azure GCP. Okay. And so I see this, and this is not enough. Okay. Like this is something that I can tutorialize in 20, 30 minutes. And if you put that on your resume, it's not really going to help you, but it's really good if you need something structured off the base that's project based. So if you're starting out with something and you need some goals, you can do this. But I would say that, you know, if you're trying to get a job, which this is actually all about trying to get a job and it's not enough, is you really need to like really go full scope here and really show your skills, right? Like I have things like single sign-on, multi-account, all this kind of stuff, but I just have to invest more time. And the thing is I don't, because this is so big that unless I make a course on it, people aren't going to do it because they'll look at this and go, oh, this is too much stuff. I want to do the easier thing, and they'll go over here. But this is what's going to really help you. Anything that's hard is what is always going to help you, but it's also not always the most attractive for people to go do, which I don't. It's not much I can do about that. But anyway, at some point I will come in and fix this up and maybe make some videos along it. Not show you all the steps, but get you started on it, okay? But again, I still think this is good. And I think that you should, if you have an opportunity, you should go through it. But I do feel that it's very lightweight and it's not going to get you hired, okay? Even though it says it will, okay? Sorry, Forrest. If Forrest decides to listen to this, okay? So coming back over to my README here. And I think I want an area for contributors. So we'll say contributors. And I've seen this before where they have like a contributor block. So GitHub contributor table. I've seen this before. Like I've seen like blocks where they show like graphics. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how to do that right now. So I guess I'll come back to that. But like, it'd be nice to show like a little bunch of little thumbnails to say like, oh, who has contributed to this, so that it is more community led than just me making this under my brand, which it will be under my brand because, you know, I got to carry it to a certain point. But that's what we'll do here. So what we'll do is scroll up to the top here, and we need to start defining our domains. So we have, I can just copy these over here. I don't need to talk through all this. This is too much talking here, so I'm going to go and grab these domains and dump those in here. And that's a big old mess, which is fine. So we will maybe give these headings like that. There we go. That is good. And, oh, nice. Okay, I wasn't sure if I could do that. I got Vim mode on, so we will indent that there. I have to like compare here to see if this is right. Oops. Okay, and I know these three were indented, so we'll do that. I don't like that my indentation's on level 2. I don't like level 2 indentation. Well, I'll leave it alone because I don't want to fiddle with it right now. Any tips on getting free credits on AWS for exploring the AWS services? And then we also, can you make a video about how to have a static website from S3? I have created multiple videos on how to create a static website from S3. I don't know where they are. But that is the most common thing you can search for. I might even tutorialize it, but I think like the last time I made it, AWS has changed S3 a lot. So I will probably revisit it at some point. So yeah, I will make another video. Again, it's somewhere, like I have existing ones, but it probably is out of date. Oh, how do you get credits? There's a lot of ways to get credits. There's hackathons. You can get friendly with different, maybe DAs, talk about a project that you want to build. If you're a startup, you have an idea, then you can just apply for them and you can get credits really easily. And that's another reason why I say you should try to make it project focused and pretend that it's a startup, because then you'll get more resources around it. Even if you're not serious about making the startup for real, you should treat it as is, because then you will, get access to more stuff. You can do quite a bit on the free tier though. Yep. Or CV website S3. I mean, like I used to say, like it's good to have a CV, but like you'd like to build it on S3 and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just, to me, like you have to go well beyond that. And that's something really easy. But the Cloud Resume Challenge does kind of walk you through that. So if you Google like Cloud Resume Challenge, they're all about building a CV resume. And there's probably like tons of articles on Hashnode, eh? I've sent all your S3 videos from YouTube, but I have not seen one. Yeah, it's somewhere in there. I know they're not named very well, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do another one sometime soon. Because like for me to do that is very easy. I could like if I just had an hour, I could just make a video here. So maybe I'll do a live stream of it if there's any interest or demand on that. So I will keep it in mind. Okay. I know individual is spelled wrong here. I cannot spell individual to save my life. The only thing I like about writing this in Word is that I get Google Chrome extension, or sorry, Grammarly, and here I don't. So that's the only disadvantage here. So just going through here, this is looking okay. And so now we have all those in here. Add all the domains. And so now we have people that can contribute here, which is great. Yeah, no problem. Anytime I'm on live stream, just come in and ask me questions. I like helping out when I can. So we'll go over here. So we'll go close that. Oh, hey, look, it just showed up. So I guess we needed some time there. Kieran asks, how to get access to the specialty courses. I'm looking at the Google ML and specialty and does not show the buy button. Where can I go? Those are in early access because the AWS ML course, and by the way, I'll prove it to you that I have it, because people think like, oh, those things aren't there, but they actually are. But I have a whole ML course that's just not recorded yet. So I'm just going to show it to you here. Amazon, machine learning. So like here it is over here, and I have like a section data engineering, machine learning primer. So if I go into, oh, that one's the most empty one. This one's, I just opened like the most useless one here. 1 second. But I'll open that up one more time. Let's see here. ML services. No. SageMaker. Here we go. So I have like a whole primer in there, and then I have, this is probably my largest course that I haven't recorded yet. And so like here, I just have this whole course sitting here that I haven't recorded yet. Like there's tons and tons and tons and tons and stuff, because back in May I had to do DevOps for my company. And then I went over and then I learned how to do the one for Azure. And so I actually have an Azure one as well. And the security course is prepped as well, but it's out of date. So it's just the fact that I haven't found time to record these. This ML course is likely to be recorded in December because I've been sitting on it for so long and I'm just kind of getting grumpy for not getting it out. But those courses generally go to early access, and the only way to early access, you have to send an email to support@exampro.co and just say, hey, can I have early access for this course? And when we are ready, we run a cohort and you get early access to the videos. Okay. What are the basics person should know, learn before getting into cloud programming? I have like a diagram for that, and I don't know where it is. I did a talk with Brown Bag. So V, Brown Bag, Andrew Brown, talk, everything, like AWS certifications. I can't even find my own talk. V, Brown Bag, YouTube. Let me try it. It's Chris's stuff. So Chris. I think I'm getting closer to it here. Because it's on their YouTube channel if I can frickin' find it. Brown Bag, here we go. And I did a talk on this here. Where are you? I thought it was Brown Bag. Can't even find my own video. Anyway, I did a thing where I broke it down into like 4 things, and honest truth is like the things you need to know for cloud, like programming, Linux, security, those basics. There aren't really any fundamental courses. You just go to Free Code Camp and you have to watch a bunch of random videos. But I want to make those as micro courses so that people can start from like no cloud knowledge. Because like right now, I have people come in and they just take the certified cloud practitioner, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean you have fundamental skills before that, like what kind of programming do you need to know, what kind of Linux do you need to know, and stuff like that. And so at some point I will kind of like put that together, but yeah, I just don't have time to find it right now. But it's in the back of my mind, so I'll have to remember there. And then Kieran says, yeah, ML is vast. I completely understand. New models keep updating. Hopefully you would include practice exams in it. Yeah, of course. We always include practice exams. And not only that, we always include a full free practice exam. This is something that I wanted to do. And we started doing that like a few months ago because we were starting to make enough money. It's funny, like we make free content and we make money from it because we have enough people that are giving back, like saying, hey, I will, even though the content's free, I will pay for it. We'll have that. But I've gone across Azure's and AWS's, and I might just shoot them all at the same time because they're so similar that I might just do all 3 at the same time, hopefully. Yeah, sorry about not having more information about the beginner stuff. It's just, I can't get too off track here. Best way to see it is like go on Twitter because then I'll post it. We're doing Cloud for Beginners this Friday as a Twitter space. And so I have Adora and Hero, and they're going to be heavily talking about these things. So we will cover that stuff. So I'll probably dig up my resources at that time. Okay. So that might be something, if you have the time, you should go check it out. If you're not coming from, you might already be coming from Twitter. But if you didn't notice, it's like pinned to my profile here where I have this here. Okay, so like non-tech, it's not necessarily non-tech, it's just like if you're really coming from zero knowledge, okay? I seem to be getting good traction here. Just gonna take a peek at my growth. Good. I'm looking forward to it. Great to hear. So coming back over to here. Andrew, if there's one AI, would people look up, there's an Andrew in cloud that we look up to. There's another Andrew? Andrew, if there's one in AI, would people look up there's an Andrew in cloud? Okay. I'm not sure what you mean there. I do have an AI course. You might know it, the AI 900. Which, by the way, is really good. I just wish more people were into it. I think it's just like the way it's marketed, people don't understand. Not me, like how Microsoft markets it, that people don't understand the true value of that course. But it's a very niche, so not a lot of people are seeing it. So this guide looks good. I might have made like a minor change here. Okay, and we'll go ahead and add this. And so now I want to come back to here because now we actually have this thing. Oh, cool. It kind of like lays it out here on the side, which is kind of cool. Seems like it's like, maybe it has like a build server. It seems a bit delayed here, eh? It's kind of ugly, but I guess we'll figure it out as we go. So like, go here. This just has like a template. I want to focus on the course and not make it look pretty, but I think I'll have to come back here and get some help with somebody to help me make this look a lot more attractive, because I really don't like the look of it so far, but at least this is open now. So we'll go over to Twitter here. I'll go down here and just say I moved the work in progress exam guide for the Gitpod certification course into a repo to try to make this in the direction of open course. I guess I could have put it under the 100 Days of Cloud, but since Exam Pro will be issuing the certification, I have to put it under here. I like putting things under 100 Days of Cloud when I can, when it's community based. So now that that's set up, I guess I could like, no, I'm just going to leave this alone. I want to go back to slides. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our Gitpod slides. And there's a few things that I'm trying to still figure out. So one thing I found out that was really interesting was I saw like a Docker compose, but this is something I need to solve. So I need to kind of make an example app and try to figure out how to do Gitpod submodules. So, because I don't know how those work. I know there is, like, yes, there's a way. I don't know how, though. So we'll say, like, Gitpod submodules and see if we can find any resources on that. Pulling Gitpod submodules. I've been starting to use Gitpod submodule in a project. The submodule contains a script. However, pulling the submodule on a workspace creation does not work, possibly because .git config contains stuff. So first, I think we need to define what a submodule is, because I don't even know what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but I'm saying like I don't know from practice, like from memory. So we will go to our text here, and we'll say, what are submodules? I think it's like Git specific though. And from there, we're going to go here and type in Git submodules. And we'll see what some people say about it here, just any kind of definition. So Git sub, wow, they're writing way too much for this. I just want to generally know what it is. Git submodules allow you to keep a repository as a subdirectory of another Git repository. Git submodules are simply a reference to a repository at a particular snapshot in time. Allows you to keep a Git repository as a subdirectory. So I'm going to say, I think this is what it is, but a Gitpod submodule is a Git repository within a Git repository. Where do you get the answers when you get stuck? Well, if I get really stuck, I go on Twitter and I ask for developer advocate help. So like, because like there's people like their job is just to help you, right? To help developers. So I'll just talk out loud on Twitter and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this. And then all of a sudden they will appear and show you up. There's paid support. If you have the money, you can, on AWS, like I pay $100 a month for business support. I can call them, chat with them to figure that stuff out. They have a cheaper plan, developers, so you can wait on that. You go into community groups like Discord spaces. But, you know, I used to get stuck a lot, and so I relied a lot more on asking people for help and trying to figure out those channels. Less of a problem now. I'm very good at just kind of digging and finding stuff. It is a bit of a skill to responsibility. I can't seem to spell that today. It is a bit of a skill set to just kind of find stuff and get help from people. You have to really work to ask your question in a way that people will want to help you. Because if you're too basic and you don't show that you've done the research or effort yourself, people will be like, okay, leave me alone. You're just like, you know, like people aren't there just like feed you answers. If you get really stuck, you got to prove that you're stuck and that you worked really hard to try to solve it. And now you're reaching out. Gitpod submodule is a repository within a repository. So this is responsibility. Copied the wrong word in there. So we need to test this because there's no validation as to whether I can do that or not, other than I got a yes. So if I pull up the Gitpods over here, Okay, I don't know if I asked this as a question yet, so I'm going to go pull up my Discord here. So I'm over here in Gitpod. So that was solved. That looks correct to me. I think that was solved. And so I was kind of asking here, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not... Inside Gitpod Workspace, you want to clone... Please note, Gitpod Workspace, you want to clone the HTTPS clone. When using HTTPS, Gitpod uses a helper function internally. Confirm the user has the permissions for the Gitpod. Otherwise, if you use SSH, you'll have to manually set up the SSH key. Oh, that's kind of important to know. I should probably just add that there. Gitpod cloning versus HTTPS. I mean, like, that's of course true. So here I'm getting the answers. I ask and you get answers. Just be very organized when you ask for stuff. You know, people appreciate that. So, not sure how to set this up. If they're appreciate it, I'm going to see if I can replicate it myself here. So this is something I need to figure out. Is like, how do you do these submodules? Because I don't even know. You know, sometimes you want to know how. So Latzian had a good page there. We'll go back to that submodules here. Often code repository will depend upon external code. This external code can be incorporated in a few different ways. If you need to maintain a strict version control, blah, 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 I don't care. Add a Git submodule. The Git submodule add is used to add a submodule to an existing repository. The following is an example. Because I'm not sure if it's like adding a different repo, right? I don't want a different repo. I just want to have repos and within repos. So here, make directory Git submodule demo, Git submodule demo, init it. So yeah, so this one's adding submodules. I don't necessarily want to reference a module within a module. I just want to, so we'll say Git submodules versus subtrees. That's what I'm trying to understand. Is there something else? Like, what's the subtree? I don't know. Oh, but I know this person's safe, so I'm gonna proceed anyway. Advance. They probably just don't have HTTPS here. I recognize this person. Martin Owen. The number I've seen people using Git is dealing with submodules. So submodules versus subtree. So this is something we need to distinguish. In my slides, we will go back to my slides here. Where did they go? So we need to know what the difference is here. Whoops. Git subtrees. So we'll say a Gitpod submodule is a repository within a repository. Gitpod submodule is a Git repository that is referenced within a existing in another Git repository. Don't really like the wording on there. I'll have to come back and fix that. Cancelable repository. And so subtrees is probably something else, probably what I want. So the number issue I see is people blah, blah, blah. Every organization has code is shared between code. Submodules prevent us duplicating code across, avoiding the money problems, etc. Subtrees versus submodules. Simplest way to think of subtrees and submodules is that subtree is a copy of a repository that's pulled into the parent is a pointer. Yeah, I know this one's by reference. So this is by reference. This one is by copying. The difference is that trivial is to push an update back to the submodule because they're doing this. So I already understand how the submodule stuff works. I might have to go through this. If I wanted to add a submodule to an existing repository, maybe I do want submodules. No, because this one's pointing to a completely different address. Huh. Maybe it's monorepo that we want. Monorepo Gitpod. Okay, I'm not sure what to do here, but I'm going to do it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do something stupid and see if it works. So I'm going to make a new repo. Yeah, I can't seem to figure this out. Because a Gitpod has to live at the root of the thing. So it seems like the only way to do this is to create submodules. But I don't want to have to create a repo every single time I want to have a project. You know what I'm saying? So is it the only way? Yeah, I'm really confused on this one. I'm going to have to go back to support here. Yeah, so you can GitHub load repos in Git repos. So for instance, I want to have a series of folders that contain the scope of a workshop. Instead of creating many repos, it'd be nice to have a single repo. Okay, you know, I'm just... I need to look up what subtrees are still. Subtrees. Sometimes if I'm having a hard time, I go to dev. And we'll just go here and type in like subtrees. I have to read. I hate when I have to read. Get subtrees. Hey, Angel. How you doing? Just trying to learn about subtrees here. It's boring. The alternative to Git Submodule. Oh, I have to read the whole damn thing. The internet is full of articles on why you shouldn't use Git modules. While submodules are useful for acute cases, are there alternatives? Yes. There are at least two tools that help. What is Git Subtree and why should I use it? So Git Subtree lets you nest one repository inside of another as a subdirectory. It is one of several ways Git projects can manage a project. Sounds good. So we have repo 1, repo 2, and then there's 2 repos. So you may want to consider a Git subtree. Management of a simple workflow is easy. Older versions of Git are supported. The submodule project's code is available after the clone. Git subtree does not require users of a repository to learn anything new. Does not add metadata files. Constant modules can be modified without having separate copies of the repository Dropbox. You must learn a new merge strategy. Contributing code back upstream. The responsibility of not mixing super and sub projects. How to use Git Subtree. So available in stock version. The quick and dirty way is if you want a couple of one-liners to cut and paste, read this. I don't know what this says. Let's just go over here and see what we're looking at. I need a new terminal. So here we have a subtree, we have a prefix. Yeah, I don't get this. The above produces the following output. As you can see, this record is a merge commit if watching, adding the sub project as a remote, contributing back upstream. Can I do this without using Git Subtree command? So I'm not really sure what to do here. So I think this is just going to be a tough slide for me. I'm sure like once I have it, it's not a big deal, but you know, the goal here is how do I have a series of workshops all in a same repo without having to create a repo per workshop. So how can I have multiple Gitpod YAML files per folder and no Gitpod YAML file at the root? I think it might not be possible. I think I have to do it this way. And, you know, maybe there's a reason for it, but I just don't understand as of yet. And this is something I think I should write about. So this was cloning. So, and I mean, this is no different than anything. When you use HTTPS, Gitpod is using the helper function internally. This can confirm the user has the permission for Gitpod operations. Otherwise, if you want to use SSH, you'll have to manually set up for the user's SSH. I kind of understand what they're saying there. I'll have to come revisit that. Like, I assume it's just like, I'd have to try it just to make sure. I was doing this earlier, so I kind of want to go back and talk about the underlying infrastructure here, because I thought this was kind of interesting. Go to loads. I mean, this is good, but I didn't explain it like that. And so this is part of the doc, so I'm just kind of extracting that out. So we have pending. Means the workspace does not yet consume resources in the cluster. If the cluster, so the works, say that. But rather some workspace, if example, the cluster needs to scale to accommodate the workspace's impending state will happen, that's fine. Preparing means that we haven't actually started the workspace instance just yet. Building the Docker images for the workspace. That's all anybody wants to know here. Indicates an issue with the within the system. It cannot determine the actual phase. Okay. So that is good there. I didn't know there's instance types. That's kind of interesting. So I think I'll include that. Regular, ghost, pre-builds. Kind of like the ghost one. I'm going to go grab a flat icon for that for fun. Flat icon. Ghost. Which ghost should I choose? Kind of like that one. Oh, that one's cute. Let's do that one. That one says boo, which is fun too. I got to log in here. Just log into my account. I think in 15 minutes I'm going to break for lunch. I really hate how long I have to wait for this. It always takes forever. Okay, so we will go over here. We'll download the SVG. Oh, we got a colored one. If it's colored, I always take it. And so we will go back to PowerPoint here, into Gitpods. I need to show that in my Explorer. Now we got a cute little ghost. Ooh, ghost instant types. Okay, and we will go back over to Gitpod documentation into this here. So within a workspace cluster, several types exist. That is well worded. I'm going to borrow that. Don't tell anybody. .22 is the font size I like. And so we'll just give these a little bit more room. Okay. We have ghost, regular, pre-builds, image builds. And then these are just builds. So we have builds. So for regular, the workspace are what our users interact with directly. When you start a Gitpod workspace, you get a regular workspace. I'm just going to copy these in here for now, and then I'll rework them. A lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll just bring in text and then I'll rework it, because I have to, like, if I have to say it in my own words so I understand it, right? I can't just take out someone else's words and work with it. It just makes it too confusing for me. We'll go here. And also there's just a lot of text here, so we could probably fix that. Regular workspaces are what users interact with directly. When you start a Gitpod workspace, you get a regular workspace. All the other workspaces are referred to as headless workspaces. Oh, so these are headless. These ones are considered headless. So if that's the case, what we'll do is drag this over, and we will get to our tool here, which is here. And I'm going to make this red. And we will increase the width here. We will call these headless. That'd be fun if they had like a headless person here. I don't know if that's too morbid, but that one's not too bad. Nah, I don't think we need an icon for that. It's just me getting silly. I'm going to close SageMaker here. It's in my way. I want this all to be black. So regular workspaces are what our users interact with directly. When you start a Gitpod workspace, sometimes it just helps to hit enter like this. Regular workspaces are what users interact with directly. When you start a Gitpod workspace, you get a regular workspace. All workspaces are referred to as headless because they don't run an IDE. Oh, okay, I get it now. Cloud9 is a useful tool, or is it better to go with the normal console-less? I mean, you're just saying Cloud9. So Cloud9 is a cloud IDE by AWS, and it runs on a virtual machine. It has great integrations with serverless. I don't mind it. I use it all the time. But for my day-to-day stuff, like doing serious stuff, I'm now using Gitpods because it's just a lot more verbose. So I think you should know both, but like Gitpod, you should know more in detail. That's obviously why I'm making a course on it. But yeah, Cloud9 is like, the problem with it is like AWS has had it for quite a long time and they haven't done much with it. So I'd rather like, you know, put my eggs in a basket with a company that is constantly evolving that service. And they have made some improvements to Cloud9, but not a lot. So all they're saying here is that when you start up so regular workspace, so when a user launches a workspace with a cloud IDE, this is the regular workspace. Okay? All other types of workspace are headless because there is no cloud IDE for the user to interact with. Okay, so that's kind of how I would word that. I think it's a bit 2 lines. Ghost workspaces are placeholders in the system. They let us scale up nodes ahead of time. Okay. So they are used Okay, that's kind of interesting. Don't fully understand that, but I mean, like, it's not important for our case, you know. Kind of running out of space. I hate when text is too long like that. I think I'll just have to drag this out a bit more here. Whoops, to bring this back. See, like, I kind of run out of room here for this. It's because I really want this ghost in here. Because it's so important. Anyway, to make the text like a little bit less boring. Of course, I'll go through all these and make labs, but anyway, it can help people here, you know? So we have the pre-builds. So pre-builds implement workspace pre-builds that can later be consumed when starting a regular workspace. Right after they start, they run the workspace tasks they will produce. Unlike they also upload their logs output for consumers. So that's an important thing. Right after they start, they run the... Okay, so pre-builds are headless. And we've covered this. We covered this multiple times in the course, but I'd like to cover it like even more. So pre-builds. Oops. Oh my goodness. Can I stop being italicized here? Okay, there we go. So pre-builds are triggered automatically or manually, and they perform the before and init tasks for start to and then generate a snapshot. Maybe not my best wording, but that's fine. Actually build workspace images that are started by the image builder. So I guess it's like if you take, so like this is, I guess, when a user takes a manual snapshot. I think that's what this is for. Okay. Couldn't say for sure, but I think that's what it is. And I think we could kind of like squeeze this down back a bit because now we have a bit of room maybe. Kinda. Maybe bring that up like that. I don't like how small this text is, but I really don't want to make another page for this. So that's just how it's going to be. That's how you have to decide sometimes. Let's go back to the doc. It's like good to know some of these underlying things. Distributed system pitfalls. Gitpod is distributed system, not by choice, but necessity. We serve users around the globe. Maintain the state across components is a big challenge. The node works unreliable. APIs and gRPC. You talk via gRPC. And I know gRPC, I learned that at one point. Gitpod APIs do not distribute events internally. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's something that is useful to know underneath. Like this is not useful. Like it's good to know, but not for if you're getting certified. Then there's this big thing here. So is best divided into 3 separate blocks. Meta, Workspace, and IDE. We'll go through each one as the diagram. So holy smokes, those are complicated. VS Code, supervisor, server, there's the WS daemon. I don't know, like, this might be too much. There's certainly interesting stuff here, but this might be too much information for people. So I think, like, we did get some useful things out of the architecture here. Like, there are these components. They haven't even defined these yet, so they're obviously coming. But, you know, I think we got what we wanted out of this page. So I think that is fine. Okay. So we'll go back over here. And this course is pretty much prepped. There's just like a few things I just don't have clarity on. Do that one. So this is pretty straightforward. Gitpod has team plans for organizations on behalf. There's not much to say here, so I might just put a screenshot in there to like dress it up. So we'll go over here. We'll leave the site. I want to go to my settings, team plans, create a team plan. Okay. So I might just grab it from here. pad that out by giving a little fact. You can set the currency as either USD or CAD, or sorry, euros. I don't know if like it has taxes and all that stuff. I assume it would. Go here, we'll go here. And I'll get out my pen tool. Oops. Sometimes I like to bring this down and bring it a bit closer here. Okay, so team pricing's there, has a team plan, that's what it's called. I really haven't done a lot of highlights. I usually do a lot of highlights, but there hasn't been much reason for me to do in this course. It's like this is too small, it should be 22. Look at when it's like this. I need to make a graphic for this. I've been kind of lazy about that one. I feel like I'm missing content from here is the fact that I have workspaces. We'll go back to our outline and we'll take a look at the GitHub one, which is here. Go back to the repo. I don't like this page. If I go down below here, identify which managed services Gitpod supports. Describe the process to set up Gitpod on a self-host managed service. Individual and team pricing, we covered that. Support, enterprise licensing, autonomy of a Gitpod OSS project. So that's something I don't have in here. And I don't know what I wanted to put for that. Gitpod OSS. So I feel like I didn't really talk about that layer that much. And so what we'll do is type in Gitpod here, IO. And we'll see if there's anything useful that we can extract from the repository of interest. So Gitpod is Kubernetes, we know this. Tightly integrated with these, that's great. A lot of good talking points. But I'm really interested in and that's probably how I end up on the architecture. So really project during the development of Gitpod, we also developed some of our own infrastructure for making development tools. So there's Kubernetes native CI system, heavily cached build system. I think I wanted to look into these because I don't know anything about these things. And you might be saying we're getting into the weeds here, but I think that it doesn't hurt to get a little bit in there. As long as we don't go too far. So we have work, leeway, dazzle. Is this by Gitpod? Oh, it's over here. So some of our own infrastructure tools. So some of these are from Gitpod, some of these are not. So we have, it knows no pipelines, just jobs. So maybe we'll bring those in here and see if there's anything of use. I won't know until I get these slides out and some text in. If they're not useful, we'll just roll back here, okay? So we have work. I see CI as continuous integration. This must be what it is. I cannot spell continuous integration. Continuous integration. There we go. Just like if you don't have confidence if that's what it is, it's always good to put in the letters here. I'm going to break for lunch in 10 minutes. And I'm going to go back over to this one. So we have this. If they have logos, I want the logos. They just look nice, so we'll take in leeway. I just want the decal. There we go. Grab that. And like this might not appear on an exam, but like I just trying to feel around here to kind of think about what it is that I think that just should know. Because I feel like there is something, but what that is, I don't. Experimental Docker image builder. And Do they have like a larger logo of this? They do, thank you. So we'll grab that. Put that there. We will go back to here. That's interesting because like there's build us. I wonder like, beware, recently the format of Dazzle builds has been changed. We'll see as to why they made this here in a second. I'm going to capitalize the D because like in the logo it's capitalized, but then down here it's downcase. And these are all uppercase, so I'm not going to play this downcase uppercase game here. So Dazzle's a rather experimental Docker OCI image builder. Its goal is to build independent layers where a change. Recently the format has changed. Dazzle's 3 main capabilities. So it sounds like it has like layer stuff. And this probably has to do with like Gitpod's roadmap of being able to like load in particular layers. So something to do with layers. I'm not going to get too deep on these things because I feel like we might be digging too deep, but okay, so I'm going to assume that this is for their roadmap, right? Because like they have it on their roadmap where they're talking about like being able to like load at a per layer or something like that, or there's something about layers, and I think I'll come back to that. I'll remember that. Then we have the last one here, which is, well, I mean, we should all know what this is. Open VS Code. I think we covered earlier in the course, so I might just shift it to here. Because I don't know if it has to really be in the beginning. Let's go up here. So I mentioned it here. So OpenVS Code is a version of Visual Studio Code that runs a server on a remote, accessing the modern browser. So I kind of feel like this actually doesn't belong here. It belongs down in here, which is nice because I need more slides up down here. So we'll take that and put that there. So I think it's like an open source fork. So we'll go over here. So I think it's like is a fork of the VS Code. It's VS Code server it's a fork of, right? So I see down below here. You have VS Code OSS and then VS Code server. Open VS Code server. I guess it's a fork is a fork of VS Code. Okay. I don't know if it has like a special logo. It doesn't. They should have a logo. If you're gonna have a logo for everything else, have a logo for this, you know what I mean? Maybe I could just like make one up for them. Like if there's the VS Code server, maybe we just like fiddle around with it. VS Code logo. See, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to have no logo there, which is kind of sad, but whatever, that's fine. We really like the logo there. So some of these, you know, these are self-explanatory. This one's kind of important, so we should know what this is. All right, so that is like that. Again, I wish I had a logo there. So, you know, because work is not built by them, unless they have a fork of it, which I didn't see. It's the only one that's not built by them. This is built by... Oh no, they're all built by Gitpod. All right. Okay, whatever. I thought that might have not been... So these are all built... OS is a... uses a combination... So that's kind of interesting. Your 100 days of AWS is not a public repo. Your 100 days of... I don't know what that is, 100 days of AWS. We have 100 days of cloud, right? And there's AWS certified, but I'm not sure what 100 days of AWS repo is. Unless I had a repo here and you saw it and I don't have it. I don't know what that is. There's definitely people that have done 100 days of AWS, but it's not. Usually everything's around cloud because then you can do it for any of them, you know? And generally I like people to use a bit of everything, so. Okay, so I'm just trying to think here because I have these now laid out, but there has to be more to it. Like, I'm just trying to understand the relationship of all these things here for Gitpod. So we'll go back to the main one here. And we'll look at all the repositories that might help a bit here. It would probably been good if they had example repos, they probably should have put them in separate repos. Like a separate, like, top here, eh? Packer, GCP. Oh, they're cool. They have like a Packer image. Actually, I kind of want to look at that because I need to do some Packer stuff. Just these templates. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time. Any plans for lunch downtown, Andrew Brown? I gotta go for lunch, everybody. So Lisa says it's lunchtime, so I will see y'all later. I'm gonna continue on this. I won't be streaming this in the afternoon unless Vlad wants me to, but for the time being, I'm just going to continue to work on this. Yeah, I don't know what's in my AWS repo. I'll have to look at that. Well, but thanks for joining for the stream, but I'm off for lunch.